Alright everybody, I'm back again with the final part of my Robotech custom collection. This time around it's gonna be my Robotech New Generation, Invid collection. Yeah, just showcasing what I have of that era right here. And now let's get on to the customs. So first off, I wanted to show First things first, I want to show off my custom Scott Bernard figure. This is supposed to be him in his regular uniform on his Cyclone. Here is Scott without the bike. Yeah, as much as I like his original figure, the thing I didn't like was the fact that he was already wearing about half the bike on him. So I wanted to do a version of him in his regular uniform. The legs are Zor Prime. The torso, chest, hands are Rand. And the head is a spare Scott Bernard hand. He has a spare Rand gun in his hand. Just like a lot of these, I made this years ago and some of the paint is coming off. And for some reason, this one is really floppy. I actually ordered something to help me tighten the joints, but yeah. Gotta replace the O-ring, gotta fix the arms and legs. But yeah, like I said, I just did this one because I wanted a version that was out of his armor, you know? Next up is Rand in Cyclone armor. Yeah, pretty much in the anime, he pretty much uses the same Cyclone as Scott. And they both have, like, the exact same armor. Funny thing about this one, I did not make this one. I bought a lot years ago. And it looks like somebody else tried making their own custom. Which is not really that hard. It's just swapping out heads. Pretty basic. Only thing with this one is the torso doesn't close fully even when it's screwed in tight, so the head is loose. And this thing has split apart on me. I've tried fixing it and yeah, no dice. And while we're talking about Cyclones and all that, next up is Rook Bartley's Cyclone. I know hers is really different. Hers had like an attached cannon onto it. I believe the front part too was slightly a different shape. But essentially I took a spare Cyclone that I had and just painted it red. Which again, that's the basic thing they could have done. I don't really understand why they didn't try pushing out more of these things, but you know, who knows. Like I said, it's just a basic Cyclone painted red. Touched up some of the silver on it. Yeah. And just like before, this is Rook Bartley in her Cyclone armor. Again, just like the Rand, it is a basic head swap. Under the helmet is a Rook Bartley head. The entire armor pretty much got repainted. In fact, let me get the custom Rand to show. So I grabbed the regular Scott Bernard figure, and as you can tell, pretty much everything except the inner leg has been repainted. Yeah, even has Rook's extra rifle cannon. I can never remember what exactly it was. Oop. Just like everything else in this collection, some of this was done years ago and needs a touch up, but yeah, overall it still looks good on the shelf. And yeah, I'm still proud of it. Now, this is one that's a bit more, that was a bit more harder to do. Um, this was Lancer, one of the characters that they didn't get around to doing in the actual line. And his Cyclone, the Blowperior, uh just like the Rook one, it's a basic repaint. You could actually see where some of the paint is coming off. Again, this thing was in storage for a few years. Um but yeah, that's Lancer on his bike. Here's Lancer without the bike. Um yeah, so the figure is made up of Rook Bartley legs and crotch, a Rand torso, Rook Bartley arms, and a Zor Prime head. This one, yeah, it was in the same storage as everyone else, but wasn't as paint scratched. The only thing damaged is missing thumb, but that's how the figure, the donor Rook Bartley that I used to make it, yeah, it was already broken. This one I actually based off somebody else's custom. I'm blanking on the name. But yeah, they made a custom back in like the early 90s and posted pictures. You can still find them on the internet. I think they're in the Robotech discussion group on Facebook. But yeah, I took what I was able to see from that one and make my own. And next up is Lancer in his Cyclone armor. Oddly enough, just like the unarmored Lancer, same thumb is broken off. This one, yeah, some of the paint is coming off. I gotta touch that up. But compared to a regular Scott Bernard, you could tell that the wrists have been, well, the forearms have been painted. What's been changed? Helmet, obviously. The helmet doesn't really fit on the head. Like, it'll go halfway on, but you'll be able to see the chin and all that. So for display purposes, I keep them unmasked. One thing I do wish is that somebody, good with 3D printers and all that, would make a set of like blades for like the Scott Bernards and all that, so I could display my Lancer with the blades on his arms. And next up, another variation of Lancer, his idol persona, Yellow Dancer. Yeah, pretty much felt like I needed to make one of these, I already had Lin Min Mei, I had Eve, and I was like, one more wouldn't hurt. Plus, interesting concept for the time. Plus, yeah, a lot of good tracks came out of the Robotech version from Yellow Dancer. A lot better than Lin Min Mei's music, so yeah. Let's see. The legs were Zor Primes. The torso, the crotch was Rand. Arms were Zor Prime. The torso was a spare Lin Min Mei I had, and the head was a Zor Prime. Holding a spare Lin Min Mei microphone. But yeah, no, there was a bunch of Yellow Dancer looks, and for some reason I chose this one because it was the easiest to work with. Because, yeah, like a lot of them were a lot more complex and all that, and I did not think I had the right parts to make it. So this one I actually did fairly recently, like last week. It is Sue Graham on her Shadow Cyclone. This one I wanted to do for a long time to match everyone else. The issue was I wanted to wait until I had another Scott Bernard to do her Shadow Cyclone armor. Unfortunately, I was not able to find one at a reasonable price. For some reason, people are selling them for 80 to 170. And as much as I like making these, that is not. It doesn't make any sense for me to do, you know? But yeah, just like before, it's a basic Cyclone bike, just repainted black and gray. Touched up some of the silver down there. Changed the windshield. Now, as for Sue Graham herself, her legs and crotch were actually no, her legs, crotch, and torso were a spare Rook Bartley figure I had. Her arms were Rand arms, and her head was a spare Lin Min Mei head I had. Was trying to do the Robotech Expeditionary Force uniform. And one accessory I've been looking for is a camera / camcorder type accessory for her. I know Chap made a bunch of them, but for some reason I'm unable to find any for sale. Cause she only appeared in one episode of the New Generation, and yeah, she was a wartime correspondent who filmed battles with the Invid to give to Admiral Rick Hunter. But yeah, in the show, she pretty much films people dying and doesn't really go in to help them. I mostly made her because of another thing you'll be seeing coming up that I'm really proud of. Next up is Sarah. She was an Invid princess, I believe. And yeah, oddly enough, in the actual toy line, they made her brother Korg. But yeah, they didn't make any other members of the Invid monarchy, royalty. I'm not really sure what the name is. But anyway, yeah, she's pretty much just a Lisa Hayes body with a Dana Sterling head. Yeah, what really makes it stand out though is the different color scheme. I've seen some pictures and fan art where she's actually dressed in pink. However, yeah, at the time I didn't have a good pink that, really stuck to the plastic. So I ended up having to use red, and to be honest, I like it a lot better. It kind of goes with Korg, with him being clad in all green. So yeah, I liked it. I feel like it works together. So yeah. Next is another member of the Invid monarchy, Ariel. She was an Invid princess who gets turned into a human. For this one, I decided to go with her Shadow Chronicles design because, yeah, her original anime design was her in a jacket. I really couldn't think of any way to do it. I've seen people do it. I just didn't trust myself into making it the way they did. And yeah, there's another one that's supposed to be like a weird cosmic cloud. But yeah, just like before, this is all pretty much Lisa Hayes. Torso, crotch, legs. Wait. Yeah, legs. The arms were Rook Bartley's arms, and unfortunately some of the paint's coming off. And the head is also a Lisa Hayes head. Honestly, I'm glad I went with this look more. I don't know, it just adds to the whole space, alien type look. Would have felt kind of weird, just making a figure in a jacket and jeans. So this right here was another Invid character. His name was Thad. He just shows up in one episode. There's not really a lot of good reference pictures for him. So for most of it, I was kind of winging it. From what I remember, the head, chest, and the arms were no, wait, now I remember. The head, torso, crotch, and legs were Zor Prime, and the arms were Korgs. To be honest, I forgot about this character when making figures, but the thing was, I wanted some more Invids for my shelf, and yeah, just like the Masters, they've gotten more love. There's been other things outside of Matchbox. Meep Toys did a bunch of Invid Hellcats, which you saw in the beginning of the video, and those are great. They scale to these figures very well, but still, you want more for the collection. Now, this one right here is Karen Baker from Robotech 2 The Sentinels. She was daughter to one of the lead developers of the Alpha Fighter, and she's an ace pilot as well. She's also a sniper from what I remember. But yeah, this one actually took, this one and another one that isn't in this video took the longest to make because I could not figure out what parts to use, and I couldn't figure out, how to do it right. A paint technique that I used for the first version of this actually caused the joints to stiffen and eventually break off. So for a good while, these were all scrapped. I managed to salvage Karen here. So yeah, her legs, the lower legs are Dana Sterling's, the upper legs are Zor Prime, the crotch is Rand, her arms are Rand as well, her torso is Lisa Hayes, and obviously her head's Lisa Hayes. This one was also a bit tricky to do because I've had bad experiences working with white paint, where even after I mixed them to a decent degree, after a while the white paint ended up looking really chalky, but thankfully that hasn't happened to these, or at least this one. Yeah, another reason why it took a while for me to make these was because, yeah, the designs for the Sentinels, I won't lie, are pretty bad. Especially like the standard uniform. It's not my cup of tea. It looks really bad. So I was basing this one more on her pilot slash military outfit. And yeah, I feel like that was the best option to go with. So this right here is my attempt at making Marcus Rush from the Shadow Chronicles movie. And yeah, this one was a lot more detailed. It's basically a Rick Hunter body and a Rand head. This was actually one of the first customs I did, and yeah, you kind of tell a lot of the paint is coming off. A lot of the lines are really sloppy. I actually got to go back and touch up a lot on this one. But felt like I needed to show this one off because, yeah, this is one of the first ones I did. I know a lot of people don't like Shadow Chronicles. But still, this is something I'm still kind of proud of. Like I said, I got to go back and fix a lot of it, but still happy about it. And just like Marcus, this is Maya Sterling from, Shadow Chronicles. Same thing with her, early custom. Gotta go back and fix a lot of it. Pretty much everything on her is Lisa Hayes. The head is a repainted Dana Sterling, which kind of makes sense. They're sisters. Like I said, just a. And this right here is, I want to say she's another idol in the Robotech series. Her name is Janice. In the Sentinels comics and original series, she's a cyborg who takes on the form of a human. No, she's an android who takes the form of a human, and it's pretty much kept a secret for a majority of the Sentinels 2 storyline. For a while I was debating which version of her to do because she has 2 different versions and 2 different designs. Janice and Janice 2. I decided to go with this one. So yeah, her body's pretty much Lisa Hayes. Her crotch is Rand, and her head is Dana Sterling. This one I actually did fairly recently. A lot of the joints are really loose. I'm waiting for something to come in the mail to fix that. But yeah, no, once more, I wanted another diva character, another idol singer, I mean. And yeah, she fit the bill. I might go back and make her first version. All depends on how I feel and yeah, if I do any more. Because I know if I do a fair amount of new customs, I will be doing an update video. Alright, this right here is something I'm really proud of. This is a 148 Gakken Shadow Alpha Fighter. Originally, this was a broken Alpha Fighter. The shoulder on this arm is completely broken. The piece shattered after it fell. It's actually held together with some plastic right now, and yeah, the arm will not rotate. So that one's pretty much stuck in position until I can fix it. I've been talking to some 3D printers about making a new shoulder or an entire hinge piece. But for now, I want to show off what's different between this one and a standard Gakken Legios. Alright, so yeah, the first major difference you could tell is the color scheme. Obviously the Shadow Fighter is going to be a darker color scheme. Could not really find a good color pattern, so I was basing it off screenshots from the anime, from Shadow Chronicles, from officially released toys. And I chose a color scheme that, I really liked, that seemed to fit. Obviously one difference you could tell right here is different style heads. The head, the chest, the gun right here, and the hands were all 3D printed by a seller on Etsy named Lou Builds. fantastic work, amazing work. Like, they are solidly built. Oh man, like they are great. They are at a good price. If you ever want to get like repro parts for an alpha fighter, for example, his gun right here, that too is 3D printed. And he doesn't just make parts for, to make a shadow custom. He sells repro heads, repro chest pieces. I can't remember if he offers replacement kneecaps, but yeah. No, back to the Shadow custom. Custom head, custom engine intakes. The hands are more claw-like. Like, yeah, they're more claw-like, but they could still hold a regular cannon and this 3D printed one, because this thing is huge. It is just huge compared to the Whoop. Hard to do this with one hand. There we go. Like, you compare the cannons, this thing is huge. And again, it doesn't cause any weight issues, doesn't cause the arm to sag. It is beautiful. It can transform into a jet. It has no problems. I sanded down parts so no paint rub. He's still able to transform into a jet mode. The issue is, well, I stated earlier, the shoulder joint is broken, and that prevents it from transforming correctly. And along with that, I am missing an entire wing, which keeps me from completing this. I've been scouring and searching eBay, but no luck. So yeah, hopefully one day I can show you guys the finished result. I can show you the transformed version. But until then, I am still proud of this. This was an idea I had for years. And I honestly never thought I'd be able to do this. But, thanks to other collectors out there who created their own custom parts, printed them out, offered them for sale, I was able to finally make this thing after years of wanting one. And like I said, hopefully someday I'd be able to show you all a completed version. So yeah, that's pretty much all my Robotech custom stuff. I'm kind of debating showing you guys my custom G.I. Joe creations before I put them in my storage unit. But yeah, if you guys want to see any more custom toy shit that I make over the years, go ahead and subscribe. If you like the video, like it. And yeah, that's about all.